That large squadron in the Navy that he commanded, it wasn't a wartime squadron. He hasn't been there and ordered the bombs to fall. I don't think riding in a fighter plane and getting shot down is a qualification to be president.
All right, you got to wonder, where was he going with that? Joining me to talk about it, Ben Ferguson, conservative radio talk show host, The Ben Ferguson Show. Good to see you again, Ben. And also Cenk, a co-host of The Young Turks, the new morning show for Air America Radio. All right, thank you both for being with us. All right, Cenk, let's start with you on this one. I don't know where he's going. Again, you can question, if you want to have the argument about Iraq, that's fine, and where John McCain's position is. But when you're talking about whether or not John McCain's squadron was a wartime squadron, you're attacking his military record, and people who aren't even with McCain are going to vote for him are offended, don't you think?
No, I don't think so. I think that there's two separate issues here. One is, was John McCain a war hero? And General Clark did not address that at all. In fact, I'm sorry, he did address it and said he was a war hero. In fact, he was a hero to me and to millions of people when he was in the POW camp. But the second issue is, does that relate to his executive responsibility, as General Clark put it? And it clearly does not. He's right. He didn't order any bombs in the air, and if being a POW camp or getting shot down is executive experience and experience you need to be commander-in-chief, then everybody in that POW camp could be president.
Top 10 things not to do if you're Barack Obama's campaign. Don't talk about experience. You have a man that was shot down, he was a POW for 5 years, and your guy, when you want to talk about experience, had 147 days in the Senate before he decided he wanted to be president of the United States of America. So it's pretty dumb for Wesley Clark to go out there, and yes, it ticked off everyone in the military, because this man, I mean, I'm sorry, being shot down, to say that doesn't qualify to be president, this man has been around war, been in actual war zones, while Wesley Clark was sitting in an air-conditioned room telling people what to do with NATO. So I don't know if exactly he's the right guy to go out there. I mean, this to me is a classic example of Wesley Clark saying anything he can to either get the VP role or to become a cabinet member, while one guy was being tortured for 5 years, and his candidate, talking about qualifications, 147 days in the Senate.
Cenk, before you let me get out John McCain's response today. Let's listen to Senator McCain, then we'll pick it up.
I'm proud of my record of service, and I have plenty of friends and leaders who will attest to that. But the important thing is, and if that's the kind of campaign that Senator Obama and his surrogates and his supporters want to gauge, I understand that.
Again, Cenk, I think let's get back to the point of, you just don't, if you want to address John McCain's decision-making ability, that's one thing. But when you're insinuating that his experience doesn't have anything to do with it, I just think that middle voter, those 10% in the middle who are going to decide this election, that turns them off.
I think you guys are crazy. Look, you can't actually challenge what General Clark is saying. It's absolutely true. It's indisputable. Getting shot down does not equal experience as chief. Otherwise, everyone who's ever been shot down has experience to be commander-in-chief. Everyone who's been at POW should be automatically qualified to be commander-in-chief. That's obviously
not what he's
true.
saying. That's not what John McCain has said.
10 seconds.
Clark, you don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, guys,
he said,
Ben, hold your fire. Cenk, Ben, hold your fire. You guys hang around through the break. More coming up. We're even going to hear from Barack Obama on this. Stick around.
I certainly honor his service as a prisoner of war. He was a hero to me and to hundreds of thousands, millions of others in the armed forces as a prisoner of war. He has been a voice on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and he has traveled all over the world. But he hasn't held executive responsibility.
All right, there's General Wesley Clark. He's a military advisor to Barack Obama in his campaign for president. Basically, they face the nation using that experience, basically saying that doesn't qualify him to be president of the United States. We heard from John McCain a little bit earlier. Let's listen to Barack Obama today talking about that.
Those like John McCain, who have endured physical torment in service to our country. No further proof of such sacrifice is necessary. Let me also add that no one should ever devalue that service, especially for the sake of a political campaign, and that goes for supporters of both sides.
Okay, there's Barack Obama. His campaign today rejected those comments from General Wesley Clark. Let's reintroduce our guests on this one from the show, The Young Turks on Air America. That's the guy on the left. That's Cenk, and on the right, Ben Ferguson of the Ben Ferguson Radio Show. He's a conservative radio talk show host. Ben, let's hit with you on this one. All right, Barack Obama, you heard what he had to say. Was that enough
Oh, well, I think it's a little bit too late. At first, their campaign said, oh, we're not really going to comment on it, and Wesley Clark's one of our guys, and now they realize the majority of Americans think what Wesley Clark what he said was outrageous. I mean, he said he was unfit and untried to be commander-in-chief. The man's been on the Armed Services Committee and has served in a capacity dealing with top-secret information for a long time. Barack Obama's even been in office. I'm talking about his office holding, not just being a U.S. Senator. So for him to come out, I mean, what you're looking at here is really a Wesley Clark saying whatever he can say to go at John McCain to get a job working for Barack Obama in a cabinet or as VP, and it may have taken him off the list going this low to make his point. Even Barack disagrees with it.
Hey, Cenk, when you look at Iraq, and this is a point, it can be at least
to get a job working for Barack Obama in a cabinet or as VP, and it may have taken him off the list going this low to make his point. Even Barack disagrees with it.
Hey, Cenk, when you look at Iraq, and this is a point, it can be at least tough for you to argue. I want to hear what you have to say about this. John McCain has visited Iraq several times. Barack Obama has not been, some 900 days? That's almost 3 years. And then you've got this going on. How is Barack Obama? I guess the bigger question to you in all this is when you talk national defense, how do you position yourself to argue this? And certainly General Wesley Clark doing what he did doesn't help. But go ahead, Cenk.
All right, it's the easiest thing in the world to argue. John McCain was dead wrong on Iraq. He drove us into a ditch in Iraq, into a disastrous war that the American people now can't stand and want to get out of. It's not about experience, it's about judgment. Now, when Ben says, McCain should get credit for being in the Senate Armed Services Committee, I agree. That's a separate point than what General Clark was addressing. As far as experience versus judgment, though, judgment is what matters, and Barack Obama had the right judgment about Iraq. I don't care how many times McCain goes for a dog and pony show in Iraq where he gets told what he wants to hear. It doesn't make any difference at all. He was wrong on Iraq before, he's wrong on Iraq now, and it's going to be part of the reason why he loses his election.
Cenk, I hope you're enjoying Monday morning quarterbacking, because that's exactly what you and Barack Obama have been able to do, because your guy wasn't in office. If you want to talk about experience, you're going to lose. I hope this is the campaign strategy of Barack Obama to say that John McCain is inexperienced.
You were wrong,
ding,
we
ding.
were right. You
Ding,
were
ding.
wrong, we were right.
Cenk, Ben, good stuff. I knew it would be. Guys, hope to have you back soon. Thanks for your time.
To you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.